Thank you very much for joining me on this Monday. I'm meteorologist Brian Shields. All right, I want to get right to it as we get into the upcoming hurricane season. I want to get to the 2023 hurricane names, tropical storm names. We'll get to that. Now, the season itself doesn't start until June 1st. Gives us a little relief this time of year. Of course, we still get a lot of weather. I track the severe weather and the flooding and all that stuff, even in the off season, because weather doesn't stop, as you and I well know. Now, the season starts June 1st officially. Sometimes in May, you start to get some of those spin-ups. That's when things really start to ramp up. But January, on record since 1851, 6 name systems out there. So it's not out of the question that something spins up in early in the year in January. But again, the season itself doesn't start until June 1st. All right, the 2023 storm names. It begins with Arlene, Brett, Cindy, Don. Maybe you can find your name on the list. Emily, Franklin, and Gert. And then we get down the list. Hopefully we don't get too far down the list. Still wait and see what the season brings. And of course, even if you have a ton of name systems out there, it doesn't tell you what's going to hit land or not. So I take it storm by storm on this channel. That's why I do this channel, to track the storms for us as they move into us. No islands too small, no area too big. Try to cover everything and everyone with the hurricane season. So this is the list of names for the 2023 upcoming season, which again starts officially June 1st. Here's a look at the Caribbean, Gulf of Mexico right here, the open waters of the Atlantic. This time of year, the pattern shifts. You get some of the rainstorms more down to the south, Guyana, Suriname, we've been seeing that, and you get these fronts that come in. So again, you don't have a big area of high pressure. There's Africa. You don't see these systems rolling off and developing this time of year off the coast of Africa. It's the fronts that we watch. Now on the Pacific side, here's California, get to Mexico, Canada, here's Hawaii. The hurricane season actually starts earlier in the Pacific. It starts May 15th. Of course, nothing brewing now, nothing tropical or anything like that. In the Northeast Pacific, they're still called hurricanes. Elsewhere, they could be called something different like typhoons. But you see here, these right here, these are fronts or storm systems that are not tropical. But look at this train. 1, 2, 3 right here coming in. And while we're way out here in the Pacific, this does change the weather in the Caribbean. All the weather is tied together. If these systems come a little more south, eventually they can clip by the Gulf of Mexico and the Caribbean. And that's what I'm watching this time of year. So you have one system here that's just rolling by Bermuda. That's one front. Another one here. I'm going to get into that. That's going to bring some severe weather. I'll show you that in just a second. And then back here, a new one coming in back into California, Pacific Northwest, and parts of Canada. That'll clip by North Mexico. But as of now, high pressure is in control, at least temporarily. All you need to know about that is an area of high pressure generally means nice weather. Winds around it are clockwise. So we've had that easterly flow back through the Caribbean. Not a ton of action going on, but I want to show you some changes, what's coming up next down the road. I zoom down here into the United States. So here's the Gulf of Mexico, Atlantic, Bahamas, Cuba, Yucatan Peninsula. And you see here, this is that system that's building. Ahead of it, that moisture draws in some of that warm, humid air back toward Louisiana. And in this sector here, there's the possibility of severe weather today and tomorrow. Watching over toward parts of Oklahoma, Texas, Arkansas, Louisiana, Mississippi, and Alabama, even up toward Tennessee. But here's the spin. This here, if you're not familiar with this area of the world, these are the Rocky Mountains. So you see the white here, when it hits the high terrain, that's some of the snow. So slightly cooler air with this, even as you get back toward parts of Nebraska and the Dakotas, dealing with some snow and spots. But here's that next system. And again, a radar is shooting out, and it won't pick up on all the rain out here, but you can see it's starting to pick up on some of the rain here. This is going to dive into California, where we've been dealing with some of the heavy flooding in spots. So watching that again, more rain moving in. And I showed you in the Pacific, more of those systems. By the time we get into mid-month, more of those are going to dive a little bit more to the south. That'll bring some change in the winds across the Caribbean. Speaking of which, bringing you back into the Caribbean, look at the cloud cover here. We've still been seeing it, which is not out of the ordinary for this time of year. Parts of Venezuela, but Guyana, Suriname, seeing some of the clouds here right on the edge of Trinidad and Tobago. So it'll be very interesting to see how close some of this cloud cover gets to us. Most of it will be just to the south and east of Barbados, St. Lucia, St. Vincent of the Grenadines, and Grenada. But you see the clouds there. Then you get back here, a little bit of moisture trying to pump in as you get into the west coast, the Pacific side there of Costa Rica, for example, and a few showers over toward the higher terrain of Guatemala. Watching that. Belize, passing shower chance. Jamaica, not a ton going on, but I want to show you some of the changes. Now, here's the big picture, and then I'm going to zoom down for us. So we get a look. Here's our time frame. This is today, this afternoon. So here's the system that's developing back in the middle of the country. You see the rain starting to build here as we get into parts of Texas. Severe threat's not crazy high in central Texas, more in eastern Texas it gets higher. High pressure still in control. That's some of the nice weather here, and wrapping around that easterly flow for us in the Bahamas and bringing in some spotty showers. But in the Caribbean, as the pattern starts to change, we're going to have a higher chance of rain later this week in some locations. So taking you out in time, this is by tomorrow afternoon. You see the system here. Severe threat will be a little higher tomorrow. Parts of Mississippi, Alabama, even into Georgia and lifting up toward Tennessee. So watching that with the front and generally giving those choppy seas. So heads up, choppier seas back through the Gulf of Mexico as this front rolls by. Then also keeping an eye on another system. Look at this big spin out here by California. I showed you way out in the Pacific. These systems starts to come in, and you see that kind of trail there. That's going to eventually punch into Mexico. But look at this. This is by Wednesday. The rain chance starting to pick up some. Trinidad and Tobago, even Dominica, Martinique, we'll see the rain chance picking up. Antigua, Barbuda, better chance of some passing showers all the way through Anguilla, St. Kitts and Nevis. But there's that big spin back there. Look at that, more rain and snow working in to parts of California. And these are the systems I'm going to watch next because they may dive a little bit more to the south, which could eventually change the winds as we get into the Caribbean. But later this week, this is Thursday, look at a little more green on the map, a higher chance of rain picking up in the eastern and central Caribbean, including the ABC Islands. And then I'll watch this next system, which will be diving by the United States. But you could clearly see it is going to get more active as the week goes on. Short-term forecast to give you that for today. This afternoon, you see a spotty shower over toward Belize. There's that easterly flow. So I mentioned the cloud cover Guyana, Suriname, the green is rain. So a better chance of rain right on the edge of it in Trinidad and Tobago. Now, some spots have had some rain the last few days. These are spotty showers, so one island may not get it, another one may get repeat showers. That's just how it goes with that easterly flow. So watching St. Lucia up toward Guadeloupe, Antigua and Barbuda, St. Vincent, St. Croix, watching St. Vincent and the Grenadines all the way up through St. John and St. Croix. Now, as we get out on time, this is tomorrow. Not as much action over toward Belize, so better chance of a spotty shower Cayman Islands today, but by tomorrow, not a ton. There's still that easterly flow, Antigua and Barbuda as we get into tomorrow, and still watching the rain, Guyana and Suriname. So again, this is Tuesday, 5 o'clock, so this is later in the day tomorrow. But you see high pressure still generally settled. Jamaica may get a passing shower, Haiti and the Dominican Republic, Puerto Rico, that would be it. But later in the week, as I showed you, it is going to get more active. So late week, that higher rain chance, tracking what's next. Active in the Eastern Caribbean Thursday, Friday into the upcoming weekend. Heads up for any of our boaters out there, our mariners out there, captains. The seas will get choppier as well. Then I showed you all of those systems in the Pacific. That means it's going to be more active by mid-January across the Caribbean and the Gulf. And then overall the warm days, but we'll start to get some cooler nights. Some of us have already had that. Jamaica, we've had very warm days. The nights have been nice, but even by mid-month, even a little bit cooler. And again, over the next couple days, watching out for that severe threat if you have any travel plans around the southeast United States, especially over toward Louisiana, Mississippi, and Alabama for that chance of tornadoes. So it's only going to get more active later this week and then by mid-month. I'll keep you posted on that. And as we get closer to the hurricane season, I'll give you those updates, those seasonal forecasts, what I'm seeing out there on this channel. So thank you for subscribing and sharing it. Got you covered as we get into the hurricane season, months away. But again, I'm still looking at everything out there in the Atlantic and the Pacific, and I'll keep you posted. Have a great day.